What's up guys, Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is Fear the Walking Dead Season 4, Episode 5, Laura. Do I even need to say it? This is the best episode this season. Why? Because it's about two of the best characters. Two of the only good characters so far. Again, Al has potential, but this is what I want to see more of. And the problem is, I know, because I'm looking at the picture for the next episode, and I see the Mel guy or whatever, so I know it's going to go back to that story. I could just watch this all day. I could just watch Morgan and John basically going after trying to find out what happened to Naomi and trying to get her back. I'd be fine with that. I am not much for romantic stories because typically they're done kind of cheesy for me and it's not realistic in my opinion. I thought this was well handled. A couple of scenes maybe could have used improving, and I'll talk about those in a minute. I mean, on the whole of it, this episode works because you've got two characters who are just really well handled, really well written, really well acted. Sure, Naomi, she has her initial uncertainties. You can see that she's kind of pushing away, she's trying to run away, but we really don't know much about her yet. We still don't really know like where she's come from. She said she has to get back, so we don't know what happened to her before then. She said she lost her child, so that might be something that is playing into her fear of making connections. And even at the end, whenever she leaves, it's because she's made a connection now with John, and that scares her because of what she's lost already. And that's kind of the hard part about living in this world that I feel like a lot of characters end up wrestling with at some point is, do you make these connections even though you know tomorrow they could be gone? Because this is the world you live in. You never know who's going to die any day, which to be fair is kind of our world too, but the likeliness of death in this world is a lot higher than it is in our world. So it's really hard to sit here and go, I'm in love with you whenever you don't know if that's going to last. You don't know if something could happen. I mean, literally that night before that conversation happens, both of them could have died. All of a sudden there's like 20 walkers showing up at your door. So I just think everything about this story was really, really well handled. The problems come down to mostly the direction and once again some of the fight choreography involved. Some of the dialogue is too could have used a little bit of work. The one scene in particular that kind of I felt it was a little off compared to everything else because most of it felt really realistic. But the scene whenever she reveals about losing her child, it did feel a little weird. I know what they were going for. I realize the point of the scene was she had been keeping so much from him. She had been keeping to herself. She didn't want to get too connected. And then finally, like, he's been sharing nonstop for the most part. He doesn't share the really deep stuff until much later when they get on the guns and all of that. He had been just trying to connect to her, trying to make that bridge between the two of them. And it's not until that moment. It's not until that moment whenever she realizes she has to give a little back. She has to share a little bit of herself, kind of help bridge that gap. And so that's what they're going for. As it is, it just sort of comes out of nowhere where they're talking about movie night. They're just what he's watching. She sits down. He's talking about the movie. He's asleep on the couch. He wakes up. She goes, I lost my child. And then that's where the scene ends. It's just very oddly paced, in my opinion. That was the only scene that felt off to me. But some of the other scenes that could have used some work, and is not the first time I'm saying this about the show, but the action scenes, man, they can get real dumb. I hate how frustratingly easy it is to be surrounded by walkers and not get killed in this show. And first of all, the fact that there are so many walkers that show up at that one bridge, what is it about the bridge? Why are so many of them like, hey, I want to walk into this river right now, let me through? So many coincidental things. The one walker they just leave in the car, apparently, instead of moving him out. And so all the walkers are trying to get into the car, and then it bumps his arm onto the parking brake or something, and then the car moves out of the way, so then all these walkers start going into the river. So they go, why? What is the point? What is so interesting about that one gap in the bridge that they all just want to walk off? And how are there so many that just show up out of nowhere? Like that was the other thing. Nothing drew them there. They just all of a sudden decided, hey, we all want to go to this one spot and try to go. There was a lot of coincidence involved in setting up for this intense action scene here at the end. The one scene in particular that's really, really frustrating is, first of all, John jumps down into the little moat that he's created to kill some of the walkers. Why? Part of the moat is they're going to walk into it, and then you can just stab from it up top. You getting into the moat now put yourself in danger. And sure enough, there are a couple that jump on him from behind. But of course he doesn't die from that because, again, these walkers are not deadly in this show. But then we see a bunch of them are starting to surround Naomi. That's when she calls out for him. And I figured they were going to do this when she was in danger from the walkers. He would finally step up, and where he used his guns before to take a life and that affected him, now he's going to use them to save a life. I like that tie-in. I like that dichotomy, I think is the right word. But the way it's set up is so dumb, because she gets pushed into the ditch. All of these walkers fall, but not on top of her. They fall around her. And then there are some that fall right on the edge of the moat, and they're just reaching out at. What is this? Why can't you set it up to where she is on top of something and they're all trying to get to her, and maybe whatever she's on is about to fall, and then that's when he steps in with the guns and takes them? Why does it have to be she falls into something, all the walkers fall around her or behind her, and they can't reach her? It's not realistic, and it makes these walkers look like they're not dangerous. It makes me feel no sense of tension in most of these action scenes, because I know it doesn't matter how close the walker is to biting them, it's not going to happen, because these walkers don't bite anybody. They are so ineffective at killing people. Why? So it's just, I get real frustrated in these scenes whenever stuff like that happens. Whenever they set up these scenes, they set up these tense moments where it feels like somebody might die, which, I mean, to be fair, we're also watching a flashback of two characters that we know are still alive after this story. You set up this whole scene, and you do these stupid things that, oh, it's tense, guys, she's about to get bit, but then something stupid like that happens. Now all the tension is gone, and I'm more frustrated than anything else. I don't know. I don't know if it's the choreographer. I don't know if it's the director. I don't know who sets these scenes up. God, they've got to find a way to stop making these scenes so much less intense. They've got to find a way to actually make it feel like these characters are getting out of these situations because of either grit or ingenuity, not because, well, the walkers are just sort of, oh, I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you eventually. I know I'm craving food, right? I'm craving fresh meat off of your bones right now, and you're right there. Easy for the pickings because you're only guarding against the one that's on top of you. But I'm still just gonna do this, and maybe eventually I'll get to you, and then you get shot in the head because you're an idiot walker. I think that's the other funny thing about it too, is I've seen some moments whenever the walkers seem like they are super intelligent. For some scenes, they either have to play dead or they have to be like they're stalking their prey and they're not instantly jumping out. But then sometimes they just have to be mindless drones that just sort of reach at their prey and they don't actually really try to go get them. They play both sides of the line to add intensity to a scene, but also to make sure that these characters don't die. It's really frustrating. But all that being said, though, rest of this episode, as I said, really well done. I enjoyed these characters. Don't know where it's going to go next, but at least we had one good episode that I had a good time with. I had more of a good time than I did a frustrating time, and that's nice. So 0.1 for this episode, but we move on to the next one, probably back to shit. I'll see you guys there in just a second. And now episode 6, Just in Case. Yeah, don't you just love these characters that are doing everything they can to kill people? This is just so much fun. This was another flashback, and it feels like this season is just going to be all flashbacks to what happened before everything went down at the baseball field. And I'm kind of done. I'm done with it at this point. It feels like this story is so slowly moving along, just getting to that point of what the hell happened at the baseball field. I honestly thought it was just going to get to that point where they were going to run out of stuff. They were going to try to make one final run to go get something, and it would turn out to be a bust, or that's when the Vultures would finally just step in and be like, nope, you can't have that. They were going to, I don't know, blow up the truck that was bringing the stuff in or something. But no, everything looks like it's fine. The Vultures leave, which means we're probably leading toward what Mel has been saying this whole time, that none of this actually works. It's all just going to go to shit eventually, because that's life. You know, nothing's ever going to work out. Why have hope? And what's sad is the flashback in this one, it was actually pretty good. I think the story with Naomi is pretty solid, because I wasn't really sure what she was feeling. I wasn't sure if it was truly justified or if they were just over dramatizing it to make it be like, oh, poor Naomi, and then we find out what happened. We find out she just left. That was basically going to be it, is she left and everybody died, and that was going to be the story. But finding out what happened and finding out what she was going there for, basically her way of getting all these supplies, but she didn't feel like she deserved to come back. A lot of the reasoning makes sense. You know, her keeping her daughter's sickness from everybody and then coming back and finding out that her daughter dying in the middle of the night and turning is what caused everybody else to get killed. It's pretty rough. I would understand the guilt that she would feel from that. So the fact that she had a really sympathetic story here Because at first I was like, really, she's running away again? Have we not already done this 3 or 4 times at this point? But finding out why, I think, really helped. And it made her story a lot more sympathetic and made a lot of sense as well. I will say her change, though, from seeming like she was just going to stay there, just die alongside all these people that died because of her. That's what it felt like she was planning to do. She even gave the keys to Madison. But then all of a sudden, Strand's just like, no, I can get to her. Gets the rope strung up for her so she can climb across. And she's just like, oh, okay, I'll go. It was very out of nowhere. Like, I thought she was planning to stay. So I don't know what changed her mind and made her go, okay, you know what? Actually, yeah, I don't want to die here. Ultimately, what does it lead to? Well, they get the fertilizer, but we know everything goes to shit anyway. So all of these hopeful moments, the flashback episode two episodes ago, whenever we had everybody deciding they were going to stay, they were going to fight alongside Madison. Now this one, when they get all the fertilizer in, they get all the seeds and stuff so they can start planting and regrow. All of this stuff, all of these hopeful endings, we know it doesn't lead to good things. We know everything goes to shit eventually. So it feels like they need to move on from these flashbacks already. They need to move on, get the flashbacks caught up with the main story so we can start focusing here. Because a lot of these just feel like it's moving pieces, but we already know what the final outcome is. So none of these moving pieces really matter. But of course, we do get to the final scene, and we get to that final moment whenever Morgan and John show up, hoping to put a stop to all the fighting. But of course, that's not going to happen, because if they stopped all the fighting in episode 6 of a 16-episode season, well, we wouldn't be here very long, would we? But I kind of figured Naomi was not going to be dead. I'm still on the fence about what happened to Madison, because they're not showing her, and I feel like Nick and Alicia would not be so revenge driven if not for Madison dying. I guess maybe they could think she's dead like they thought Naomi was. For some reason they got separated, something happened like an explosion, so they thought that they all died, but then they're gonna find out they didn't. I don't know, I'm just spitballing ideas here. But yeah, Naomi showing up. Am I crazy, or is she wearing the shoes that she left whenever she left John? But with Alicia shooting John, I hope that's not it for him. I mean, it's hard to tell if it was a shot that would kill him or not. It might have missed all the vital organs. Obviously, ending with him getting shot makes me think when Nick got shot, the episode ended with him dying. Now, John gets shot, and that's where the episode ends, so I get the feeling he's going to survive from this. Could be wrong. Fingers crossed that I'm wrong, because, again, I enjoy having John around. He's a great character to have. That opening scene with him and Morgan threatening the one vulture guy was fantastic. I loved everything about that scene. So if he's gone, I might be gone. No, I am going to finish this season and next season, because I'm going to see what happens. Might have to grit my teeth through it, but we'll finish this out. I think that's about it for this episode. All in all, not really looking forward to more flashbacks. Once we get past those, maybe then I can start to enjoy it. Maybe the mid-season finale will end the flashbacks and we can finally be in present day. But with all that being said, those are my thoughts on these 2 episodes. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on these 2? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Fear the Walking Dead reviews. Also check out the channel. We have a lot of other reviews on here as well, some Let's Plays, so check those out if you have time. But until next time, I hope you guys have a great day. I'll talk to y'all later. Peace out.